Favorite video games get made, or how websites just pop up on your screen? Well, it all comes down to this thing called coding. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you that it's not some kind of magic trick, but an awesome creative tool that anyone, yep, that means you, can learn to use. So let's get into it.
So here's the plan. First, we're going to break down what coding actually is. Then, we'll get into the basic building blocks that make up all code. After that, we'll look at a few great languages to start with, brainstorm some really fun projects you can build, and then we'll wrap it all up with some key tips to get your coding adventure started.
All right, let's kick things off with the big one. What in the world is coding? Let's break it down.
At its heart, coding is really just talking to a computer. I mean, think about it. Computers don't understand regular English, right? So we have to give them instructions in a language they can understand. And that's it. That's all coding is. A really clear, step-by-step list of instructions to get a job done.
Okay, here's a super fun way to think about it. Imagine you're programming a robot to make you a sandwich. You can't just shout, "Hey, make me a sandwich." It wouldn't know what to do. You have to break it down into tiny, super specific steps. First, take the bread, then spread the butter. After that, add the jam. Computers are exactly like that robot. They need every single step spelled out for them perfectly. And that is the heart of coding.
So, coding is about giving instructions. But what do those instructions actually look like? Well, let's dive into the secret ingredients, the basic building blocks you'll find in pretty much any program you can think of.
Everything, and I mean everything, starts with a command. It's the most basic instruction you can possibly give. In our little sandwich recipe, take bread would be a command. In coding, a command just tells the computer to do one single specific thing.
And here it is. This is the classic first command for almost every new coder. The command here is print. Now, in programming, that usually just means show this on the screen. So this little line of code is a simple instruction. Hey computer, please display the words "Hello World." And just like that, you've seen your first piece of code. Next up, we have something called variables. Now, the absolute easiest way to think about a variable is to picture it as a labeled box. You can put any piece of information inside it, like a number, a name, maybe a player's score in a game, and the computer will remember it for you. It's how programs keep track of everything.
So for example, right here, we've basically made a box, slapped a label on it that says age, and then we put the number 13 inside. Now, anytime our program needs to know that age, it just has to look inside the age box. See? Simple.
Okay, now for one of the most powerful tools in all of coding, loops. I want you to imagine you need the computer to do something 100 times. You wouldn't want to write out the same command 100 times, would you? Of course not. A loop is this amazing shortcut that just tells the computer, hey, repeat these instructions for me. It's an idea that's used everywhere, from animating rain in a video game to loading all the posts in your social media feed. Check this out. Instead of typing print hi 5 separate times, this tiny little loop does all the work for us. It basically says, hey computer, for 5 times in a row, I want you to print hi. And that's why loops are a coder's best friend. They save a ton of time and keep our code looking clean.
So what really makes code seem smart is its ability to make decisions. And that's where conditions come in. You can think of a condition as a fork in the road for your program. It checks if something is true or false, and then it decides which path to go down based on the answer.
Hey, remember our age variable? Well, here the code is checking a condition. It's asking a question. Is the number inside that age box bigger than 10? If the answer is yes, then the program will print, you can play this game. This is the kind of logic behind everything from age restrictions in games to how you level up when you get enough points. It's all about making choices.
And our last building block is the function. The best way to think of a function is like a little mini program, or a special machine that you build to do one specific job. You write the instructions for that job just one time, you give it a name, and then you can call on that machine anytime you need it without rewriting all the steps. It's super efficient. Okay, so we've got our building blocks. You've got commands, variables, loops, conditions, and functions. So now what? How do we use them? Well, we use something called a programming language, which is kind of like picking a specific toolkit for the job. Let's look at a few great ones to get started with.
So where do you start? Well, for total beginners who just want to make fun games and stories, Scratch is perfect. It's like playing with digital Legos. If you feel like you're ready to type out real code that the pros use, Python is a fantastic choice because it reads almost like plain English. And if you're dreaming of building your very own websites, then HTML and CSS are going to be your best friends.
Once you have these building blocks and a language to play with, you can actually start creating things. And honestly, this is where it gets really, really fun. Let's brainstorm a few things you could probably build, like right now.
You could totally build a simple calculator using variables to hold the numbers. Or what about an interactive story where the player's choices actually change the ending? That's a perfect job for conditions. You could design a cool digital birthday card with HTML, or even build a number guessing game that uses loops to keep asking for a guess until you get it right. Every single one of these projects uses the exact building blocks we just talked about.
All right, you're pretty much ready to go. But before you jump in, let's go over just a few final tips to make sure your coding journey is as fun and successful as possible.
First off, start small. Seriously, don't try to build the next big blockbuster game on your first day. Second, and this one is so important, do not worry about making mistakes. Every single coder in the world makes mistakes. We call them bugs. It's just how you learn. Be curious, try changing things in the code to see what happens. And most of all, make sure it's fun. Build things you're actually interested in, like games and stories.
You can watch videos and read about this stuff all day, but the real magic happens when you actually start doing it. The single most important part is to just write that first line of code and see what happens.
So, here's your first mission if you choose to accept it. Go online and open up Scratch. It's totally free. Try to make a character, which is called a sprite. Introduce itself with your name. Then, just play around with it. See if you can change the color of the text. And for a little bonus challenge, see if you can make that character move from one side of the screen to the other.
So there you have it. Coding isn't about being some math whiz, it's about being creative and solving fun puzzles. You now have the fundamental building blocks: commands, variables, loops, conditions, and functions. You've got the tools you need to bring your own ideas to life. So the only real question left is, what will you create first?